In the news at noon, federal government moves to recover 58 billion naira from 7,000 debtors. House of Representatives to investigate alleged abuse of 2.3 trillion naira tertiary education tax by TET Fund. Governor Moino reiterates commitment to keeping social contract with the Kwabom people, announces readiness to constitute State Executive Council this month. On the foreign scene, Somali forces take over areas vacated by AU troops. In sports, Manchester United signs England midfielder Mason Mount from Chelsea for £55 million. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. My name is Xavier Robert. We begin this afternoon from the national scene where the federal government has moved against its debtors in over 946 ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs across the nation, and has so far recovered 58 billion naira from 7,000 debtors. The Director of Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning Special Projects, Victor Omata, disclosed this at a zonal sensitization workshop on the federal government debt recovery drive through the Project Lighthouse program in Asaba. Omata, who was represented by the Deputy Director in the ministry, Bridget Moloko, disclosed that 58 billion naira had been recovered so far from 11 MDAs. She explained that the debts were in the form of debt liabilities to the Federal Inland Revenue Service and refunds to the government by companies that failed to deliver on projects for which payment had been made. To the Green Chambers now, where the House of Representatives says it will investigate the alleged abuse of 2.3 trillion naira tertiary education tax by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, from 2011 through 2013. This was passed as a resolution in the plenary session of the House after the adoption of a motion co-sponsored by Olushola Fatoba, David Farr and Zakari Nyanpa. While moving the motion, Fatoba, the lead sponsor, said since the establishment of the TET Fund in 2011, the fund has earned trillions of naira as generated revenue. He alleged that the fund is reputed for numerous financial abuse in its operations, award of contracts and execution of projects. The lawmaker therefore stressed that if urgent steps were not taken to investigate the allegations, the decay of the tertiary education system will continue to increase. In the meantime, some House of Representatives members in Abuja have protested the alleged discrimination in the allocation of seats and offices for the members. The lawmakers, numbering about 100, who openly protested against the perceived tendencies, said the ugly trend was capable of causing setbacks in legislative activities. Reports say the House Committee on Welfare, chaired by Representative Olawale Raji of APC Lagos, was saddled with allocating seats for members. The protesting lawmakers were reportedly mostly first-timers who described the seats allocated to them at one of the temporary chambers as inconducive, as they were on the third floor. According to the list issued by the Welfare Committee, 240 members were allotted for the second floor, while a few members, including some first-timers, were allocated seats on the ground floor. Responding to the development, the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, called for calm, while assuring that the main chamber, which is currently undergoing renovation, would be completed before the House resumed from recess. In education, the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, Professor Ishako Loyede, has said the board had concluded investigations on the case of the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination candidate, Mesoma Ejikeme, who was accused of fraudulently inflating her 2023 UTME score. Loyede made this disclosure in a transcript sent to newsmen from Windhoek, Namibia. He said she was not the only one caught, noting that others have chosen not to go out. According to the registrar, there is an industry faking results that unfortunately cannot penetrate JAM's system, reasons being that the system is foolproofed. He said that it is unfortunate that parents and some of the candidates that are being fooled not aware that they are only being fooled. Oluyede said that there is internal evidence to show that the change in Ejikeme's scores was done with her collaboration. He said that there are certain features pertaining to her that only her knows unless she makes it available to somebody else, stressing that they could not have increased her scores on her behalf. The registrar said he had earlier spoken with the former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, on Mesoma's matter and told her that it was a high-level scam. On security, the new Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has disclosed plans to carry out an overhaul of all of the service's operations. Abubakar, who was appointed alongside other service chiefs on June 19, explained that the overhaul was to key into the dynamic nature of the current operational environment. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabquet, the Air Chief said this during a weekly operation briefing held at the Strategic Operations Center of the Nigerian Air Force. He also stated that under his watch, an all-inclusive leadership style would be imbibed, where every personnel would be carried along, while also ensuring that welfare, infrastructural development, and all operational needs are given due consideration. Still on security, Acting Inspector General of Police Olukayode Obatokun has ordered the deployment of 35 commissioners of police to various state commands and formations across the country. Force spokesman Muyiwa Dejobi said in a statement that the deployment followed the approval of the IGP's recommendation by the Police Service Commission. The IGP therefore assured Nigerians that the postings are in line with the commitment of the police leadership to ensuring effective policing, security, and the maintenance of law and order in Nigeria. Amongst the newly posted commissioners of police are CP Adelisi E. Oluwarotimi to Kwara State Command, CP Adebola Ayinde Hamzat FDC to Oyo State Command, CP Agustina N. Obodo to Ebonyi State Command, CP Samuel Titus Musa to Kebbi State Command, CP Aderemi Olufemi Adoye to Anambra State Command, CP Alwal Musa to Boji State Command, and CP Alamatu Abiodun Mustafa to Ogun State Command. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has reiterated his commitment to keeping his social contract with the people by ensuring that he does his best to implement the programs as encapsulated in his Arise agenda. Governor Inohu gave the assurances when he flagged off the construction of a Waruta Norku Ekerefala Udoyo Edebom 1 by Ipongwa Market Roads, linking Ibesikwa Sultan and Sribom local government areas, appreciated the World Bank and the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project RAMP of the State Ministry of Agriculture for partnering with him in the realization of the project. The governor also used the occasion to announce that the State Executive Council will be constituted this month to ensure that the government begins to work with the farmers and ensure that soft loans are given to them through the Ibom Fadama Microfinance Bank to help in the agricultural revolution plans of his administration.
I'd like to thank and appreciate the World Bank and by extension the managers of RAM for working with us and ensuring that our partnership becomes very fruitful agenda. And that is why we're here to flag off an agricultural viable road and to be sure that our products come from the farm and can get to the market. Very soon, once we constitute the Executive Council, which we will do this month, then we will ensure that we begin to work with our farmers and we'll make sure that soft loans and grants will go to them.
While assuring that the project will be completed on schedule, the governor stressed that only those who are lazy will not benefit from his government. He equally used the opportunity to thank the people of Nsiribom and Ibesikwa Sultan for their overwhelming support in the last general election and restated his determination to serving the people.
Let me begin by appreciating profoundly the people of Nsribom and the people of Ibesikwa Sultan for voting overwhelmingly for us in the just concluded election. We thank you for your commitment. Thank you for enabling us to bring to bear the vision that we have for Akwa Ibom State through our rights agenda. And we commit to ensuring that we keep to our social contract with you, and will ensure that by the grace of God, we will do our very best to implement the programs as encapsulated in our rights agenda. And we really enjoy the government, you know me. I don't need but we need yes and I'm good. But we yes for Nambuba,
Earlier in their goodwill messages, the representative of the World Bank, Professor Mohammed Babagana, and his RAMP counterpart, Engineer Charles, pledged their commitment to a fruitful realization of the project. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that, also speaking, member representing Nsribom State constituency Eric Apan and his Ibesikwa Sultan counterpart Ubong Atar applauded the governor for embarking on a life-torching project within his first few months in office, assuring him of their unalloyed support to the completion of the project and many others through the Arise agenda of the government. You're listening to the News and Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from the foreign, sports and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
Healthy living begins with the choices one makes. Choosing to live healthy is the first step to healthy living. Join us Sundays 1:30 to 2 p.m. for Healthway, awareness for healthy choices.
Many thanks for staying tuned as we move on now to the foreign scene, where Somali forces have assumed security responsibilities in 5 of 6 sectors where African Union AU troops have been deployed. The Defense Ministry said it appreciated the sacrifices made over the years by the AU mission and the countries which had contributed soldiers: Burundi, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya and Uganda. The statement came after the scheduled withdrawal of 2,000 AU troops expected to have left by 30th June. Reports say that most of the military bases so far handed over are located in the lower Shabelle region and were operated by the Burundian contingent of the mission. According to reports, another 3,000 AU soldiers are expected to leave by the end of September, with the entire force due to be out of Somalia by the close of 2024. On sports, Manchester United have announced the signing of midfielder Mason Mount from Chelsea on a 5-year contract. The 24-year-old is Eric Ten Hag's first signing of the summer in a deal worth an initial £55 million with a possible £5 million in add-ons. Meanwhile, England international Mount says he is hugely ambitious and knows how amazing it feels to win major trophies and what it takes to do it, adding that he will be giving everything to experience that again at United. And on the entertainment scene, Tanzanian singer Diamond Platnumz has partnered with Nigerian R&B singer Chike for a new single called My Baby. Reports say the new single is a love ballad rooted in bongo flavor and Afro-pop sounds that sees Diamond and Chike serenading their significant other, professing undying love and affection. The song comes after Diamond's brief hiatus. It's been the News and Planet Radio 101.1 FM. But before we go, a quick recap of the major stories. The federal government has moved against its debtors in over 946 ministries, departments and agencies across the nation and has so far recovered 58 billion naira from 7,000 debtors. The House of Representatives says it will investigate the alleged abuse of 2.3 trillion naira tertiary education tax by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, from 2011 to 2013. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has reiterated his commitment to keeping his social contract with the people by ensuring that he does his best to implement the programs as encapsulated in his Arise agenda. On the foreign scene, we told you that Somali forces have assumed security responsibilities in 5 of 6 sectors where African Union AU troops have been deployed. And in sports, reported that Manchester United have announced the signing of midfielder Mason Mount from Chelsea and a 5-year contract. For comments and coverage of newsworthy events, to call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. Visit our website at planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at planet101fm. Uyo. The news was edited by Jane Uwa. As we end the news, the bravest thing you would ever do is continuing to live your life even when you feel you want to die. Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Rather, be led by the dreams in your heart and the purpose for which you were made a living being in the first place. My name is Xavier Robert. Wishing you a terrific afternoon and to enjoy the rest of our programming today. Bye-bye for now.